Bob Babbitt here at triathlete.com. The day after the 2010 Ford Ironman World Championship, and sitting next to us, the now two-time champion, Mr. Chris McCormack. Macca,
we meet again, Bob.
We meet again. I love it. We were just doing breakfast with Bob the other day, talking about how you knew you had one of the better run times, the best run times in the last 10 years here, and you used it again.
Yeah, I had a great day. I was quietly confident this year. I didn't want to. I came in definitely a little bit quieter than in years past, but sometimes you get a little bit apprehensive when training and everything goes so well. And I was at a great weight. I felt fantastic in my preparation, and I was quietly confident. But I don't like to get ahead of myself. And I had the perfect race yesterday. It was a wonderful day, and as opposed to the 07 race, I really got to enjoy the enjoy the finish and enjoy the moment. It was a great day.
And we've had classic moments here, but a lot of times they're seldom and far between when you actually have people running side by side. And to have you and Andreas Raylert running actually onto Palani, coming down Palani, that's never happened before.
Yeah.
And when Andreas was coming on you, and I've seen you race before, I've seen what you did with Nico Llanos at Wildflower. You are the best tactician I've ever seen in a race. You knew he was coming, and it seemed like you kept the pressure on because you wanted to make sure when he got to you, he was gassed a little bit.
Well, I knew he was coming from a long way out. Actually, I was holding him at a minute 20, and for a while he was taking about 10 seconds a mile out of me. So you start doing the math in your head, and you prepare yourself. Okay, there's going to be a catch. He's going to catch me. We'll hold this pace. So out towards the energy lab, I thought, you know what? Let's just accept he's going to catch me, but let's focus on nutrition and focus on the things I can control.
Right.
Take a bit of a break, and then when he does catch me, be prepared for a tactical race to the finish, because I like a downhill run. I sort of half back myself in a sprint, and I found out many years ago when I did Ironman that not necessarily the fastest guy wins in an Ironman. At the end of an Ironman, the strongest guy can win. So I thought, I've done a lot of these. I'm relatively strong, and I cruised through the energy lab. I really focused on nutrition, and I was surprised he hadn't caught me earlier. So I started to think, well, maybe he's not doing it as easy as I'm hearing, because it's quite difficult when you're leading. You don't know what's happening behind. And so I just kept the pace on, ran 6:30 miles just under, and thought, okay, to take 15 seconds a mile out of me, he should catch me with about 4 miles to go.
Right. And
then we're going to have a running race. And he caught me with 3 miles to go. And thankfully for me, I was starting to come on the upward.
You started to come back a little bit.
I started to come back and feel good, and when he caught up, and I thought, this is game on. I'm ready to rock and roll here, and yeah, it sort of went that way.
It's sort of, in that situation, it's almost better to have the guy right there.
It really is, because you get to look
see
him over and
feel
see
what the deal is, how he's feeling.
And I like to see that, and I thought, you're always looking for positives. I'm a sort of a glass half full kind of guy, and once he pulled up, I got to look at him and think, okay, you're looking good, you feel good. He's not looking as if he was feeling great, he would have brushed straight by me. He's actually paused here, which is a sign. And so I just sort of tried to put myself one step in front of him all the time to assert, hey, you've caught me, but you haven't gone past me, and I'm still here, buddy. And as we made the move up Mark and Dave Hill, I was starting to think, man, this is hallowed turf. This is where the great
Iron
race.
War.
Yeah, this is Iron War.
And you're a historian.
Yeah, I'd watched that race many times and watched Mark make his move on Dave there, and I actually got a bit ahead of myself and put in a bit of a surge. But you're still a long way from home.
You're a mile and a half, 2 miles.
Yeah, don't panic here. I got a bit of a break on him, and looked back, and I had maybe 15 metres, and I thought, well, it took him a good mile to run that 15 metres out of me earlier. If I keep this pace on, he's going to have to run some tempo up the hill, and maybe that'll sting his legs. And we both crested Palani together as we ducked down the hill. He didn't go past me again, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna wait until we get onto a leaky drive and make a move. And we sort of got down to the Starbucks on Palani, which is exactly a mile to run, and I heard him. He was on my inside. I heard him yell for Coke and water at the aid station, and I couldn't believe it. I thought,
aid station with a mile to go.
A mile to go. You don't need aid. Not when you're running for the title.
It's not going to help
you. Yeah. And I waited, and once he ran into the people who were holding the cups, you're always slowing down. Your hands are up. You're not driving your arms anymore. And the minute he went for the cup, I hit the gas, and it opened up the winning gap ultimately in the end. And you get to the bottom of Palani, swung onto the left into that false flat, and I started to hurt. I started to get a stitch. And
I saw you rubbing on your knee trying to get that thing out.
I remember saying to myself there, this is everything you've ever done in your life. Every track session since you're a kid, every time you've hurt in a swimming pool, everything comes down to this moment. Just close your eyes and sprint. And yeah, I did. And in the end, it was a big gap. I was able to win quite convincingly. But just a beautiful moment for me. I'm just really happy with how I played it tactically, I think it was just my experience as a racer, and it all culminated in the day yesterday. My whole career came together in that moment, and really, really happy with the way the race unfolded, really, really happy with the way the races turned out. The Raylerts of the new generation, and to get one up, it's a bit like Mark grabbing Hellriegel back there in 95.
Exactly.
Very, very nice.
So there was a point there on the bike where you had to make a decision.
Yeah.
You were with a group, and there was a group ahead with Norman and Ferris and some of the good cyclists. And when we met at Auburn University months ago, you looked directly at the camera and said,
I called him out.
and said, okay, the way we can beat Craig Alexander is Ferris, Norman, we have to put pressure on Craig between Kauai High and Kauai High.
Yeah.
And we have to get a gap because you don't want to come off with the bike with that guy. He's the best runner in the sport.
Yeah.
And it seemed like that's exactly what happened.
Well, this year they've always called it the lonely lava fields, but this year there was that many guys in the group. There was no loneliness out there, so we were heading out towards Kauai High, and the passing this year was very difficult. There was a lot of penalties being handed out because the group was so big, and I was at one stage I got towards the back of the group and I didn't see that Norman had come through, and I didn't see the group escape, and I went, man, it's a bit dangerous back here, and I pulled out as we got up towards Harvey, about 6 miles from the bike turn, and I rode up to see who was in the group, and I'd realised Timo Bruck, Norman Stadler, the German train had gone. I thought, far out, how can you be so stupid here? And we sort of pulled up, and I saw them about a minute up the road, and Reynard Tissing was coming past me on the outside. I said, Reynard, hit the gas, we're going. And I went around Reynard, we took off, and I saw the boys didn't respond, and that was the move. I said, we have to get across to this group, and I really laid it out for about 25 miles until I got into the back of the German train, and then as I pulled up onto them, I said, guys, this is it.
So you talked to them?
Yeah.
You said, guys, we got to go.
We have got to go. We have to push. This is the move. This is it. I said, these guys, because I'm looking at this group. It's Farris, Norman, Bruck, and Rayler. You've got Mikey Twelsick and
all the guys.
Lieto up the road. They're the bikers of the whole field. Back in the group of the runners. So you get a bit of confidence knowing that you got the best bikers with you, and the runners are going to do the lion's share of the work back there. So the boys picked it up, and we were able to open up 8 minutes on the chase group, and
that made a huge difference.
Yeah, that was it. And I actually going up towards Scenic Lookout there, which is about 20 miles from home, I'd say, just about 15, 20 miles from home. I was looking at Rayler as the guy to beat. He looked very, very comfortable in that pack, but he sort of dropped off a few times on Norman, who was pushing the pace, and I sensed a weakness there, and I said to Reynard again, let's go, let's hit the Germans. And so we escaped, and that was ultimately the minute gap that I was able to run out of transition with, that he had to fight back on the run. And it's amazing how things pan out in the end. When you look back in hindsight, you're like, wow, that move, it's making the move at the right time that wins races. And fortunately for me,
and not questioning, just going.
To win here, I've said it many times, to win here you got to take your chance and be brave enough to do it, and cross your fingers. And fortunately for me, that worked. Now,
last time I saw you this lean was when you won this race in 2007. Was that a focus for you, knowing that, you know what, I've got to win this race in a run. I've got to be skinny.
Yeah, but years when I first came here, I was too skinny. So I've always had a funny thing with my weight. If I get too skinny, I get very, very fast in the run, but I definitely lose my bike strength. So it's been a long process to get the weight down where I can hold my strength. And I didn't take as big a break in the off season last year after this race. I was really conscious of my weight and keeping it under control and focusing on my strength. And I think it's the perfect raceway for me. 175 pounds is what I wanted in 07, and 175 pounds is what I wanted again here. So not bad for a big bloke.
And you're also the oldest guy ever to win here.
I know. Jeez.
37.
37. But we won't talk too much about it. Next question.
Okay. So what did you say to Andreas? You guys were running next to each other, and there was a point where you basically said, okay, we're one of us is going to win. Made a best man win. Is that how it turned out?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I have immense, honestly, Andreas and his brother Michael are two of the gentlemen of this sport, absolutely. And I've got to put a shout out and kudos to Michael. He gave me splits out there, and honest, legitimate splits, and he was very...
Andreas' brother
Mackie, you're a minute 20 in front, you're a minute 45 to Marino, you look great, which is just classy. I remember looking at him thinking, man, kid, you are classy. And his brother's exactly the same. So when he pulled up on me, we didn't say much to each other for a bit, and I just turned to him and said, no matter what the outcome is here, best of luck, mate, you're a champion. And he was like, oh,
you guys shook hands?
Shook hands, and I said, he said, may the best person win. And I said, cheers. And that was it. That was all that was said. And I heard last night that I bought it off, or I'm like, oh,
Oh
come on,
my
you know?
God! Oh, you paid him.
I paid him. I was like, geez, I wish it was that easy. Oh, done.
You would have done it in a couple hours earlier.
Exactly.
So as you're coming down, and I know in training over here, you and Terenzo would sprint from the banyan tree in over and over and over again. So you know, what, 50 seconds?
42 seconds from
42
the banyan tree to
seconds.
the finish line, yeah.
So as you're coming down that last 42 seconds, what are you thinking?
Well, I had that long glance. I didn't see him in the distance, and I thought, man, this is. I had the little Australian flag in my hand, and I just really enjoyed that moment. It was, you know, the last time I was going down there, I was crying. I could not believe I put it together. This time I was able to just embrace it all, and you know, and it's just a wonderful place. When you're growing up, you know, watching this race and watching the great champions run through there, this is the hallowed turf of triathlon, and to run down there first twice is amazing.
Yeah.
And this time it was, as I said the other day at breakfast, it's personal. It was for me, the family, and my support people who have backed me. And coming in this year, there wasn't many of us left. So how do you like them apples?
How do you like them apples? And your little girls, they're a couple of years older now, so they probably have a little more of a sense of what this is all about.
Oh, they were pumped. I took my oldest daughter, Talia, to the finish line last night. She was there till midnight. And then when we were driving home, she's like, Dad, the sun will be up soon. I said, this is the latest you've ever stayed out. So they had a ball. I saw them on the bike and I waved to them. And yeah, they wrote my name all over the ground. They just had an absolute ball here. And it's just, as a father, having your kids watch an event like this and being a part of it is just awesome. And for them to see me win is something they'll remember for a very long time.
And also, I know the type of competitor you are. The fact that it came down to a classic finish is something that you enjoy more than if you had just time trialed in.
Oh, 100%. For me, I think, you know, I watched a bit of the finish last night because it goes in slow motion in your head. You know, it's happening while you're racing, and I got to see it. I went, wow, that was pretty cool. And it's going to be one of those epic races that you'll watch for many, many years because Andreas is a class act. He's an amazing talent. He's headed in the right direction twice here, a third, a second. So. Yeah, it's a nice one.
The cool thing is growing up, you and your buddies would sit inside and watch that Mark and Dave tape all day long, every day, and your dad would be like, listen, Mark Allen's going to make a move right here. So 10 years from now, there's going to be somebody else who's going to be watching that tape going, their dad's going to be going, McCormack's going to make a move right when that guy yells Coke. What the heck? Go outside and play.
It's amazing the things that go through your head when you're out there, you know, like, and I honestly, coming up that hill, I was running with Andreas thinking, this is Iron War 2, man. Like, can you believe it? Like, I'm having my own Iron War in my own career, so it's...
Speaking of Iron War 2, Ironman 2, this guy is for you, for winning your second ever Ironman. He even speaks to you.
Or screams at me.
It screams at you.
This is what I come to Ironman for.
Exactly.
Cheers. Thank you.
For Chris McCormack at triathlete.com, the Ford Ironman world champion for the second time, Mr. Chris McCormack. A big round of applause, everybody.
Yeah.
Macca, you were a class act, my man. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.